Welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a simple question. Why do some people study English for years but still feel afraid to speak? And why do other people become confident speakers even with simple words? The answer may surprise you. It is not because they know more grammar. It is not because they are smarter. It is because they do one powerful thing every day. They always try to talk in English. In today's video, I will show you how this simple habit can completely change your English. I will also share real stories, practical tips, and a step-by-step method that absolute beginners can start using today. So stay with me, because one small idea in this video might change the way you learn English forever. Chapter 1. Hello everyone. Let us begin with a simple story. A young man wanted to learn English. He was serious about it. Every day he studied new words. Every day he read books. Every day he watched English videos. He even carried a notebook with him. Whenever he found a new word, he wrote it down. After some time, he knew hundreds of words. Then hundreds became thousands. He felt happy because he thought he was making great progress. But one day, something happened. A visitor spoke to him in English. The visitor asked a very simple question. The young man understood the question, but he could not answer. His mind became empty. He knew the words, he knew the grammar, but he could not speak. After that moment, he felt disappointed. He asked himself, "Why can I understand English but not speak it?" Maybe some of you feel the same way. Maybe you know many words. Maybe you understand videos and lessons. But when it is time to speak, the words do not come out. If this sounds familiar, then this chapter is for you. The young man continued studying for many months. He kept reading. He kept memorizing vocabulary, but nothing changed. He still felt nervous whenever he wanted to speak. Then one day he realized something important. He had spent years learning English, but he had spent almost no time using English. He was collecting words like someone collecting tools, but he was never using the tools. That realization changed everything. He made a simple decision. Every day he would speak English. Not perfect English, not advanced English, just simple English. He started talking about his room. He talked about his breakfast. He talked about the weather. He talked about his plans for the day. Sometimes he made mistakes. Sometimes he forgot words. Sometimes his sentences sounded strange. But he kept talking. Day after day, week after week. Slowly, something amazing happened. Speaking became easier. His confidence grew. The fear became smaller. The English that was trapped inside his mind finally started coming out. This is the biggest mistake many English learners make. They think learning English and using English are the same thing, but they are different. Learning English means studying words, grammar, and lessons. Using English means speaking, writing, listening, and communicating. Imagine a person who reads 10 books about swimming but never enters the water. Will that person become a great swimmer? Of course not. The same thing happens with English. You can study for years, But if you never use the language, speaking will always feel difficult. The truth is simple. English is not only something you learn, English is something you do. The more you use it, the better you become. Let me tell you another example. Think about your muscles. If you never exercise, your muscles become weak. But when you use them every day, they become stronger. Speaking English works in exactly the same way. At first, it feels difficult. Your brain works hard to create sentences. You stop. You think. You search for words. Sometimes you feel slow. Sometimes you feel frustrated. But every time you speak, your brain gets stronger. Every sentence is like a small exercise. Every conversation is like a workout. Little by little, your speaking ability grows. One day you realize that sentences come more naturally. You do not need to think as much. You become faster. You become more comfortable. This is why speaking every day is so powerful. Now let us talk about something that scares many learners: mistakes. Many people stay silent because they are afraid of making mistakes. They want perfect grammar. They want perfect pronunciation. They want perfect sentences. But perfection is the reason many learners never improve. Think about a baby learning to walk. Does the baby walk perfectly on the first day? No. The baby falls many times. But every fall teaches something. Every mistake helps the baby improve. Speaking English works the same way. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of learning. Every mistake teaches you something new. Every mistake shows you where you can improve. If you never make mistakes, you are probably not practicing enough. I remember meeting a learner who always stayed quiet in class. He was afraid of making mistakes. Another learner spoke all the time. He made many mistakes. Sometimes his grammar was wrong. Sometimes his pronunciation was not perfect. But something interesting happened. After a few months, the second learner improved much faster. Why? Because he was using English. He was practicing. He was learning from every mistake. The first learner protected himself from mistakes, but he also protected himself from progress. This is an important lesson. Speaking badly is much better than staying silent. Silence feels safe, but it does not help you grow. Speaking may feel uncomfortable, but it helps you improve. Here is another secret that many learners do not know. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. Many people say, "I will speak English when I feel confident." But that day never comes. Confidence is built through action. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Every conversation adds a little confidence. Every sentence adds a little courage. One day you realize that the fear is no longer controlling you. The confidence you were waiting for was created by practice all along. So today I want you to remember one powerful idea. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you know every grammar rule. Stop waiting until your vocabulary is perfect. Start speaking with the English you already know, even if it is only a few words, even if it is only a few sentences. Small steps create big results. The learners who improve the fastest are not always the smartest learners. They are often the learners who are willing to use what they know. But now we have an important question. If speaking is so important, how can beginners talk in English when they know only a few words? What should they say? How can they practice without a speaking partner? The answer may surprise you. And that is exactly what we will discover in the next chapter. Chapter 2. Now let us answer the question from the last chapter. If speaking English is so important, how can a beginner start speaking when they know only a few words? Many learners believe they need thousands of words before they can speak. They think they must master grammar first. They think they need to sound fluent before opening their mouth. But that is not true. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner named Adam. Adam loved English. He watched lessons every day. He wrote new vocabulary in a notebook. Every week he learned more and more words. But he never spoke. Whenever someone suggested speaking practice, he always said the same thing. I am not ready yet. I need more vocabulary. Months passed. Then a year passed. Adam knew many words, but he still could not speak comfortably. One day he met a teacher who asked him a simple question. The teacher said, "Can you tell me about your room?" Adam looked confused. The teacher said, "Use only simple words." Adam started speaking. This is my room. My room is small. I have a bed. I have a table. I have a chair. The teacher smiled and said, "You see, you are already speaking English." That moment changed Adam's life. He realized something important. Speaking does not begin with thousands of words. Speaking begins with a few simple sentences. This is the beginner's secret that many learners never discover. You do not need advanced English to start speaking. You only need the English you already know. Many learners are sitting on a treasure, but they do not realize it. They know simple words like house, book, food, water, school, friend, and family. They know simple verbs like eat, walk, go, study, and sleep. These words are enough to begin. The problem is not that learners know too little. The problem is that they rarely use what they know. One of the best ways to start speaking is through self-talk. Some people hear this idea and laugh. They think talking to yourself sounds strange. But it is actually one of the most powerful ways to improve your English. Why? Because you do not need a partner. You do not need an app. You do not need a classroom. You can practice anytime and anywhere. Your voice becomes your teacher. Your daily life becomes your lesson. Imagine that you wake up in the morning. Look around your room and describe what you see. Say, I am in my room. My room is clean. There is a window. There is a table. My phone is on the table. These sentences are simple, but they are real English. Then go to the kitchen and describe your breakfast. Say, I am eating bread. I am drinking tea. The tea is hot. The food is good. Later, when you are studying, say, I am reading a book. I am learning English. This lesson is interesting. You are not just thinking about English anymore. You are using English. At first, you may feel slow. You may stop often. You may not know the right word. That is okay. Remember what we learned in the last chapter. Mistakes are teachers. If you forget a word, use another word. If your sentence is not perfect, say it anyway. The goal is not perfection. The goal is practice. Every sentence makes you stronger. Now let me share something amazing. You can speak English for 10 minutes every day without a partner. Many learners believe they need someone to practice with. Of course, speaking with other people is helpful, but you do not have to wait for that opportunity. You can create your own speaking practice. Talk while you walk. Talk while you cook. Talk while you clean your room. Talk while you travel. Describe what you see around you. Describe what you are doing. Describe what you are thinking. If you do this for 10 minutes every day, you will be surprised by the results. Another important lesson is this. Simple sentences are more powerful than difficult vocabulary. Many learners want to learn impressive words. They want to sound advanced. But real progress comes from using simple English again and again. Think about a child learning a language. A child does not begin with difficult words. A child begins with simple sentences. I am hungry. I am happy. I want water. These simple sentences create a strong foundation. The same thing happens when learning English. Fluency grows from simple language used consistently. Let us talk about creating an English environment. Many learners think they can only practice English during study time. But English can become part of your whole day. Change your phone language to English. Read simple English messages. Listen to English audio while walking. Watch short English videos. Think about your daily activities in English. The more English surrounds you, the more natural it becomes. You stop seeing English as a subject. You start seeing it as a part of your life. I remember a learner who made one small change. Every day while walking to work, he described everything he saw in English. He said things like, "The sky is blue. The road is busy. Many people are walking." At first, it felt difficult. After a few weeks, it became easy. After a few months, his confidence grew dramatically. He did not wait for opportunities. He created opportunities. Now I want to give you a challenge. It is simple, but it can change your English. Starting today, speak English for 10 minutes every day. Talk about your room. Talk about your family. Talk about your plans. Talk about your day. Do not worry about mistakes. Do not worry about sounding perfect. Just keep speaking. If you do this challenge for 1 week, you will notice a difference. If you do it for 1 month, you will notice a bigger difference. If you do it for several months, the results may surprise you. But here is something interesting. Many learners start a challenge like this with excitement. They practice for 2 days, maybe 3 days. Then they stop. A week later, the habit is gone. Their progress slows down again. Why does this happen? Why do so many learners quit even when they know speaking is important? The answer has nothing to do with talent or intelligence. It has everything to do with consistency. And that is exactly what we will talk about in the next chapter. Chapter 3. Now let us talk about something that changes everything: consistency. Many learners know they should practice English. Many learners know they should speak every day. But knowing something and doing it are two very different things. This chapter is about the reason many learners stop improving even when they have good intentions. Let me tell you a story. There was a learner named Daniel. He was excited about learning English. Every Monday, he promised himself that this week would be different. He watched videos. He learned new words. He practiced speaking. For a few days, everything went well. Then life became busy. He skipped one day, then another day. Soon a whole week passed without practice. When he tried speaking again, he felt uncomfortable. His confidence was lower. The words did not come as easily. He became frustrated. Then he stopped again. This cycle repeated many times. Start, stop. Start, stop. Every time he stopped practicing, he lost confidence. Every time he lost confidence, it became harder to begin again. One day, Daniel learned a lesson that changed his life. He realized that motivation was not the answer. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited. Some days you do not. If you only practice when you feel motivated, your progress will always be slow. Instead of depending on motivation, Daniel decided to build a habit. He made one simple rule. No matter how busy he was, he would speak English for at least 5 minutes every day. At first, 5 minutes sounded too easy. It sounded too small. But that was exactly why it worked. 5 minutes did not feel difficult. 5 minutes did not feel scary. Even on busy days, he could find 5 minutes. Sometimes he spoke for longer. Sometimes he only completed his 5 minutes. But he never stopped. Day after day, week after week, he kept going. Slowly, English became part of his life. This is an important lesson. Habits are more powerful than motivation. Motivation is like the weather. Some days it is sunny. Some days it is rainy. But habits stay with you. Habits keep moving even when you do not feel excited. Think about brushing your teeth. You probably do not wake up every morning feeling motivated to brush your teeth. You do it because it is a habit. Imagine if English became the same way. Imagine if speaking English became a normal part of your day. That is when real progress begins. Many learners make another mistake. They think 1 hour of practice on Sunday is enough. Then they do nothing for the rest of the week. But language learning does not work that way. Speaking English for 5 minutes every day is much more powerful than speaking for 1 hour once a week. Why? Because your brain learns through regular contact. Every day you remind your brain that English is important. Every day you strengthen the connection. Small daily practice creates long-term results. Let me give you an example. Imagine two learners. The first learner studies for 1 hour every Saturday. The second learner practices for just 5 minutes every day. After 1 week, the second learner has practiced for 35 minutes. That seems less, but there is a big difference. The second learner has connected with English 7 times. The first learner has connected with English only once. Those daily connections keep the language alive in the mind. Over time, this makes a huge difference. So how can you make English a daily habit? The answer is simple. Connect English to something you already do every day. Maybe you drink tea every morning. While drinking tea, speak English for a few minutes. Maybe you walk every evening. Use that walk as your English practice time. Maybe you cook dinner every day. Describe what you are doing in English while you cook. When English becomes connected to your daily routine, you no longer need to remember it. It becomes automatic. I know a learner who practiced English every morning while making breakfast. He described everything he did. I am making tea. I am cutting bread. I am eating breakfast. The sentences were simple, but he repeated this habit every day. After several months, speaking English felt much easier for him. He did not improve because he was special. He improved because he was consistent. Now let us talk about confidence. This is where many learners get stuck. They say, I will speak when I feel confident. But confidence does not work that way. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build. Think about riding a bicycle. Nobody becomes confident before getting on the bicycle. Confidence comes after riding it again and again. Speaking English is exactly the same. Many learners avoid speaking because they feel uncomfortable. They worry about mistakes. They worry about pronunciation. They worry about what other people might think. But every fluent speaker has felt uncomfortable at some point. Every confident speaker was once nervous. The difference is that they kept going. They spoke even when it felt difficult. They practiced even when they made mistakes. That action created confidence. This is one of the most important lessons in your English journey. Action creates confidence. Confidence does not create action. The moment you understand this, everything changes. You stop waiting. You stop making excuses. You start practicing with the English you already know. I remember another learner who followed a very simple routine. Every morning he spoke English for 5 minutes. Every afternoon, he learned 5 new words. Every evening, he used those words in sentences. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy. Just small daily steps. At first, his progress seemed slow. But after a few months, people noticed a big difference. His speaking became smoother. His confidence became stronger. His English improved because he stayed consistent. The real reason many learners lose progress is not lack of talent. It is not lack of intelligence. It is not lack of resources. The real reason is that they stop practicing. They let long breaks destroy the habits they worked hard to build. The secret is not doing something amazing once. The secret is doing something small every day. So remember this. Speak for 5 minutes if you cannot speak for 30. Practice 1 sentence if you cannot practice 10. Do something every day. Keep the habit alive. Small steps may look unimportant today, but they create powerful results over time. And now we arrive at an exciting question. What happens when someone follows this habit for months? What happens when a learner keeps speaking English every day, even in small ways? Can simple daily practice really transform a person's English? The answer is inspiring. And that is exactly what we will discover in the final chapter. Chapter 4. Now we come to the final chapter. This chapter is about what happens when you keep speaking English every day. Not for 1 week, not for 1 month, but for many months. This is where the real transformation begins. This is where English stops feeling difficult and starts feeling natural. Let me tell you an inspiring story. There was a learner named Sarah. When she first started learning English, she was very shy. She understood some English, but she was afraid to speak. Every time she wanted to say something, fear stopped her. She worried about mistakes. She worried about pronunciation. She worried that people would laugh at her. Because of this fear, she stayed quiet most of the time. One day, Sarah decided to change. She remembered something important. She did not need perfect English to start speaking. She only needed the courage to use the English she already knew. So she started small. Every morning she spoke a few simple sentences. Every afternoon she practiced new words. Every evening she talked about her day in English. Some days were easy, some days were difficult, but she continued. After a few weeks, she noticed small changes. Speaking became a little easier. She needed less time to make simple sentences. Then a few months passed. One day she had a conversation with someone in English. Suddenly, she realized something amazing. She was speaking without fear. She was not perfect, but she was communicating. She was sharing ideas. She was understanding replies. The shy learner who once stayed silent was now having real conversations. This is what happens when English becomes part of your daily life. The changes are often small at first. You may not notice them immediately. But day by day, your brain is learning. Day by day, your confidence is growing. Then one day you look back and realize how far you have come. One of the biggest changes is that you begin thinking in English. At the beginning of the journey, many learners translate everything. They hear something in English, they translate it into their native language. Then they create an answer in their native language. Finally, they translate it back into English. This process takes time and energy. But when you speak English every day, something wonderful happens. Your brain becomes more comfortable with the language. Little by little, you stop translating every word. You begin thinking directly in English. Instead of translating the sentence, you simply understand it. Instead of building every sentence slowly, the words come more naturally. This is one of the most exciting moments in language learning. I remember talking to a learner who described this experience. He said, "One day I was walking outside, and suddenly I noticed that I was thinking in English. I was describing the weather in English without even trying." He was surprised because it happened naturally. He did not force it. It happened because English had become a regular part of his life. Another hidden change happens with listening. Many learners struggle to understand spoken English. At first, English sounds fast. The words seem to run together. It feels difficult to catch every sentence. But when you speak English regularly, your listening improves too. Speaking and listening are connected. The more you speak, the more familiar English becomes. The sounds become clearer. The patterns become easier to recognize. Slowly, understanding improves. Then something else happens. Your speaking becomes faster. Not because you memorize more grammar rules, but because your brain becomes more comfortable using English. The sentences come more easily. The pauses become shorter. The fear becomes smaller. You begin expressing your thoughts with greater freedom. Most importantly, English stops feeling like a school subject. Many learners spend years treating English like a test. They focus only on rules, exercises, and memorization. But language is much more than that. Language is communication. It is a tool for sharing ideas, feelings, dreams, and experiences. When you use English every day, you stop seeing it as something you study. You start seeing it as something you use. Now let me give you a simple daily plan that can help you continue improving. Every morning, speak English for 5 minutes. Describe your room, your plans, or your thoughts. Keep it simple. Every afternoon, learn a few new words or phrases. Do not try to learn too much. Focus on a small number and understand how to use them. Every evening, spend a few minutes talking about your day in English. What did you do? What did you learn? How did you feel? These small activities may seem simple, but together they create powerful results. Remember, every fluent speaker started exactly where you are today. Every confident speaker was once nervous. Every person who speaks English naturally once struggled to make simple sentences. They were not born fluent. They improved through practice, patience, and consistency. Sometimes learners think fluency belongs to other people. They believe only talented people can speak English well. That is not true. Fluency is built one sentence at a time. Confidence is built one conversation at a time. Progress is built one day at a time. As we come to the end of this video, I want you to remember something very important. Your goal is not perfection. Perfection can make you afraid to start. Perfection can make you stay silent. Your goal is communication. Your goal is progress. Your goal is using the English you already know. If you know 10 words, use those 10 words. If you know 50 words, use those 50 words. If you make mistakes, keep going. If you feel nervous, keep going. If progress feels slow, keep going. Every sentence you speak is helping you improve. One day, just like Sarah, you may look back and realize that the fear is gone. You may realize that English feels natural. You may realize that you can express your thoughts and connect with people in a language that once felt impossible. So always remember this powerful message. You do not need perfect English. You only need the courage to use the English you already know. If you enjoyed this video and learned something useful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future English lessons. And now I have a question for you. Starting today, how many minutes will you speak English every day? Write your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video and learned something useful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future English lessons. And now I have a question for you. How many minutes can you talk in English today? Write your answer in the comments below. Remember, every word you speak is progress. Keep practicing. Keep believing in yourself. Keep talking in English every day, and I will see you in the next video.